This episode is going to be all about artificial intelligence. All of us have been hearing a lot about artificial intelligence in the last few days, or probably a few months, or some of us even for a few years. What we are going to talk about here is artificial intelligence, how it is affecting our daily lives, and how we are surrounded by artificial intelligence. So, one of the most recent, the most happening things, or the most buzzwords that's happening in the world of artificial intelligence is nothing but our own chat GPT. All of us have been hearing this. Most of us have been using this as well. So today, in this episode, we're going to talk about chat GPT, how it works, what are the few things that we need to remember while using chat GPT, and everything as a basic layman that we should be understanding before we get into the world of ChatGPT or even artificial intelligence. So, artificial intelligence is any basically it's a technology which helps computers to understand our language, and it helps us give solutions on the basis of same. So it generates human like tests, or like text, like the text messages, like the text or audios or even videos. It helps in content creation and also problem solving. A lot of us have been using ChatGPT already. It's a very advanced technology, a very advanced tool that helps us give solutions to complex questions in just a snip of a button. So let's see what ChatGPT is and what does it stand for. So chat, we all know, it's basically a chat. Like what we chat, we can chat with the computer itself. GPT stands for generative pre-trained transformer. Now, what is that? That's basically a language that the computer is able to understand what we say to it. Computer doesn't know English or any of the languages that we speak, but they speak in languages of zeros and ones. There are a lot of codes for the computers to understand, a lot of things that the computer is supposed to do. So what GPT or chat GPT here does is basically it has made the computer understand what a layman wants. For example, I can ask, what is the capital of Canada? And ChatGPT will show you that. I can ask that in just plain simple language that I speak, and it'll give you an answer in the same language. So it basically understands human language and responds to it with the same language that you want the response to come out in. So a computer understanding your language and responding to you in your own language. How does it work? Because there's always some science or some technology behind everything that happens. And what is behind ChatGPT? How does ChatGPT work? So ChatGPT on a very basic terminology, if I explain that, it works on the basis of probability. So when you're entering a word, ChatGPT associates or searches for all the possible words which can be linked to the word you are searching or entering. For example, fish and water, Saturn and its rings. Now, fish and motorbike are not something that is a high probability thing because fish doesn't go on a motorcycle or a motorbike, right? And when you talk about probability, it's always what are the most common chances this word or sentence or whatever you're searching for can be whatever has the highest probability, that is what you see as an answer to the question that you put there on ChatGPT. So probability is a very important factor. How does it work? I'll just give you a small example. All of us used to play snake and ladder, like back in our days, or probably even now. So in that we have a dice that we roll, correct? What does a dice do? Like when we roll it, it gives you a number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Suppose you take two dices and roll it together. What is the probability that you might get the total of 1? As in, when you roll both the dices, the least possible chance that might happen is both the dices coming with 1 and 1. That brings the total to 2. Can you get a number 1? No, that is not a probability. So, what has the highest probability? Now, if you see this chart here, you will understand the highest probability is for the number 7 to come. Why? Because you might have number 1 on the first dice, number 6 on the second dice. You might have number 2 on the first dice, number 5 on the second, totaling to 7. Number 3 on the first, number 4 on the second, totaling to 7 again. Number 4 on the first one, number 3 on the second one. So, like that, chances of number 7 coming when you roll the dice has the highest probability factor. And that is exactly how ChatGPT works, or any of the most modern AI technologies actually work. So it's very simple. What is the most probable answer to your question is what ChatGPT gives you after searching like billions of books and websites and whatnot information that it's got fed into. So a few buzzwords that you should know when you're getting into the world of like ChatGPT or AI or all the latest technologies that we've been hearing. These few things are very important. The first is AI, which is artificial intelligence. The next is NLP, natural language program. And the last is LLM, which is large language model. Now, what is AI? Like all of us know what AI is, right? It's a computer that thinks like a human, a computer which has a human brain, correct? Basically, the human intelligence is put into a computer, and that computer acts just like a human being, or maybe even better, or with time will definitely get better than a human being does. What is NLP? Natural language program. It is basically a language that the computer is fed with so that it understands the commands or the prompts or the questions you ask to the computer. So, making a machine understand what you are asking to it and making that machine reply in your own same language. LLM, which is large language model, is nothing but basically the IQ of the computer. If you ask a question, how good is that computer to give you the right answer? What information, what knowledge is the computer given? So basically the IQ of the computer. That is what LLM is. Now, LLM is a very big field in itself where there are like billions of parameters included. We will come to that in the next slide. Currently, we are surrounded by AI. A lot of people would say that I don't use any AI technologies. I'm not like tech savvy. But then, no matter what, all of us are surrounded by AI. Just a few examples here. First one being virtual assistant. For example, our Siri and Alexa that we use are examples of virtual assistants. Now, if you ask Alexa, or for example, if you say, hey Google, play the music of Summer of 69 by Brian Adams, it won't go and play Travis Scott. It will play you the exact same thing that you want, right? It's basically a virtual assistant listening to your voice command and actioning on it accordingly. If you ask Google to place an alarm, like put an alarm for 6 a.m. tomorrow, what will Google do? Will it put an alarm for 6 a.m.? Yes, it would. It wouldn't put an alarm for 8 a.m., right? So virtual assistants, like we have been using that for like a few years now, are all artificial intelligence technologies that are being used. The next one, recommendation systems. For example, say you're searching for a flight from New York to Paris, and you close the window after like a few minutes after searching for a few flights. Immediately, the next thing you would see on your Facebook or even your Google ads or your Instagram feeds will be flight options from New York to Paris. What is that? Like in layman's language, you can also call it remarketing, but it's basically the system, the computer, understanding what your requirement is and suggesting you advertisements based on that. It's a very like basic, not a basic, but a complex algorithm that is running behind understanding exactly what you need and then suggesting you products or services or your needs based on what you are looking for. The next one is image recognition. A lot of us use self-driving cars, right? What does it do? It if it's like cruising on a highway, if there's a vehicle in front which slows down, the car would automatically slow down. If the vehicle speeds up, the car would automatically speed up. It'll understand which are the other cars or other vehicles running around it before changing the lanes. Everything. All of this technology is basically artificial intelligence being used in everyday life. There are like thousands of examples. These are just three random examples I had to share here. The next one is types of ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been there for quite some time now. It's not something new that's been come in the last few months. Like even though most of us know about it only in the last few months, but ChatGPT has been there for quite some time. Earlier versions of ChatGPT were ChatGPT 2, GPT-3, GPT 3.5, what we use now with the user interface, and the GPT-4, which is a paid version. Now, GPT 3.5 is where the whole thing changed. GPT 2 and 3 were used by developers, and that's the reason we laymen didn't know about it because it was only used by developers. You couldn't enter it on English, you couldn't do anything. You could just put in codes or languages that the computer would understand and you would get responses in the same language that the computer knows. But 3.5 changed the whole scenario. In 3.5 what happened was computer was like, as I said, the NLP computer was able to understand your language: English, French, German, Spanish, Mexican, any language that we want to speak to the computer understands that and responds to us in the same like language that we want. And that is where GPT 3.5 was a revolutionary change in the world of artificial intelligence. And GPT-4, which is a paid version of GPT, is like even faster, like even more accurate. There are like a lot of benefits to that. But then yes, 3.5 is good enough. So coming to the next slide, what are the top LLMs? Because I said that is what the computer's knowledge is. That is where the computer's IQ is. So currently, there are a few like LLMs being used. For example, GPT-3 by OpenAI, which all of us know. Then you have Llama by Meta. You have Stable LM, you have Claude, you have Palm 2, you have Vicuna, a few of them. And number of parameters. This basically is the IQ of the computer. Currently, GPT-3 has 175 billion parameters added into it, which is basically the amount of knowledge that this application or this user interface has before it gives you an answer to your question in a few seconds. So when you enter a question on ChatGPT 3, what happens is like ChatGPT goes through all these 175 billion parameters that it's been fed with and gives you an answer on the highest probability of what would be the best answer available over the internet, on books, on articles, on blogs, everywhere possible, and it gives you the best answer. So these are few of the large language models being used nowadays. There is one that's very exciting that we're looking forward to, which is Palm 2, which is like by the company Google. They like we don't know how many parameters it has like as of yet, but I'm sure it's Google, so it's definitely something exciting, I'm sure. And ChatGPT, how does it work? It works on a system called token system. Now, what is token system? I'll just explain you in brief here. ChatGPT, when you enter something on the search, like the box there, for example, if you type the word sunflower, is that a single word? Yes, it is. Sunflower, it's a flower. All of us know that. But when you go to ChatGPT and type sunflower, ChatGPT calculates that as two tokens. Even though it's a one word, it's calculated as two tokens. So here, when you talk about tokens. Like it is basically every 1,000 tokens is on an average 750 words. It might be a little up and down, but then yeah, on an average, it's 750 words. Now, you see this. Now, as I said, sunflower, I'll just type it here. It is 2 tokens, if you see that, correct? It's 9 characters, that's the alphabets, but the tokens are two. One is sun, and the second one is flower. So you have 2 tokens there. Now, if you, for example, type motorbike, it's a one word, but the tokens are two, correct? Because motor is one word and token is 2 words. Now, for example, if I copy this whole paragraph here and I copy it and place it here, it is 79 tokens. You can see which are the tokens. Now, why are tokens important? Like you can see it here, die is a token, the alphabet G is a token, PT is a token, and it goes on. Why are tokens important? Tokens are important because when you have the paid version of ChatGPT, how does it charge you? It charges you on the basis of the number of tokens that you've used. Now, if you've used 1,000 tokens, ChatGPT would charge you for 1,000 tokens. So tokens is always, as I said, like on average, if you take 1,000 tokens, it would be 750 words. So this is more or like what the ChatGPT will be charging you on the basis. On if currently the 3.5 is definitely free, the 4 is like chargeable. So this is how you will be charged. Now we don't know if 4 would be free going ahead as well. There are chances that it would be. So this is a small session that we wanted to do today, just to make sure that you know the basics of ChatGPT before we go ahead with a lot of more informative videos in the coming days.